Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises and double honors due to Yahweh, Bahashem Hamashiach wa Malak Yahweh Shai. Secondly, this is Brother Yardan, WFI Detroit, coming back at you with another cool cut. Right now, as you can see in the title, we'll be going over order. Right, this is a fair reminder to all of Israel that there's order in everything. Right, at least there should be in a society, but it's not, seeing that we're in captivity. But you still have to keep in mind that you have to be in order yourself, right? Whether you be in a camp or in your household, there always have to be some type of order, all right? You'll see that in the military and the army. When people go to war, there's order, all right? In a school system, there's some type of order. In a government, there's some type of order, right? If you understand what I'm saying. Hell, even when you look at the nature and wildlife itself, there's order. All right. So we're going to go over a few precepts to prove that. And I'm going to go to the classic 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40. Because you can't be in this thing living life how you want to. You can't follow after your own heart. Right? Let all things be done decently and in order. All right. But this society tells you to what? Follow after your own heart. All right. Follow after your own mind. Love is love. All right. When you start doing things contrary to the natural order of how it should be done, then that's how everything goes out of whack. Right. This is Sirach 5:2. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. Right? You can't be walking after the ways of your own heart. All right. You have to put your feelings aside when it comes to this truth. All right. I'm gonna bring out a quick precept to let me back off that. This is First Maccabees, and this is an account of soldiers in war. This is First Maccabees chapter 5, verse. I'm gonna start at 50. I'll start at 56. Is that what I want? Bear with me. Yeah, I'll start at verse 56. And it reads this. Joseph, the son of Zacharias, and Azarias, captain of the garrisons, heard of the valiant acts and warlike deeds which they had done. Right now, when you we're not going to read the whole chapter, but you had Judas Maccabeus and his brethren. They was doing mighty warlike acts and deeds, right? And you had Joseph, the son of Zacharias and Azarias, right? He was the captain of the garrisons, and he heard about those acts. Right? And it kind of got to his head. He got hyped up too much. All right. Before they said, let us also get us a name and go fight against the heathen that are round about us. Right. So now they're getting puffed up. All right. They're following after their own mind and their own heart. Right. All for vanity, saying, let us get us a name. Now understanding the Most High set up in order that Judas Maccabeus and his brethren, right, they're going to be in charge of how things are ran, right, through the spirit and in the righteousness. All right, verse 58. So when they had given charge unto the garrison that was with them, they went toward Armenia. Then came Gorgias and his men out of the city to fight against them. And so it was that Joseph and Azarias were put to flight, and pursued into the borders of Judea. And there were slain that day of the people of Israel about 2,000 men. So you see what happened when you follow after your own heart and move after your own mind. All things fall out of order, right? And these are the garrisons. These are the captains over the garrisons, right? And he led all his people to death because he followed after his own mind, right? Because he don't want to stay in order. All right. So for you brothers that's in camps, you have to remain in order. Don't follow after your own mind, right? Understand that the Most High set up these camps a certain way, the same way he did in the ancient world, all right? Verse 60. And so it was that Joseph and Azarias were put to flight and pursued, and we read that verse 61. Thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel, because they were not obedient unto Judas and his brethren, but thought to do the same, it's like do some valiant act. All right. See what happened? When you out of order, all hell break loose. Here's another account. This is Luke chapter 9, verse. It's a good precept. That's not what I want, but let me pull it up. Matthew 8 and 10. I'll start at verse 5. And when Yahushua was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of palsy, grievously tormented. And Yahushua saith unto him, I will come and will heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, go, and he goeth, and to another, come, and he cometh. And to my servant, do this, and he doeth it. Right? So this is a man of order, even a centurion. Right? When Yahushua heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Right? He's an Israelite. Keep that in mind. Verse 11. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and the west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And then he said this, and Yahushua said unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed in the self same hour. But the point I really want to extract is, even a centurion, he understood that there is order, right? And I would say Yahushua respected that, because the Lord himself, he's a man of order. All right. Let's see if I want to get something. All right, that's all I wanted on that part. But Lord willing, brothers, get the point so far. All right, you have to be in order. Here's another account. This is Exodus 18, and might want to start up at 10. I'll start at 14. Nope, I'll start at 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses from the morning unto the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning unto evening? Right? And Moses said unto his father-in-law, Because the people come unto me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I make them know the statutes of God and his laws. Right? So Joseph, Salakia, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, he saw what he was doing. And he said, look, it's kind of off. Are you going off? You can't judge all these people by yourself. It's impossible. You're not the Lord. Verse 17, and Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Right? He kind of getting on him. He said, the thing you're doing right now, is not profitable. Salakia. It ain't worth a damn. Right? Thou will surely wear away thou will surely wear away both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. And that's a fact. This is very, very true. This is a beautiful, beautiful point. Because if you think you can do it all by yourself, then you're going off. Right? Even a general needs counsel. Even the king needs counsel. Right? Didn't Rehoboam seek counsel? Right? Although it wasn't good counsel, nonetheless, that's an example of a king seeking counsel. All right? So you can't do this thing on your own. Remember, we read in Nehemiah 8th chapter, in the first verse, move as a body, right? Let's keep reading. Hearken to my voice, I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the cause unto God. And thou shalt teach them the ordinance of the laws, and shalt shew them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Right? So we had to do work back then as well. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers over thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. Right? This is a precept that lets you know that the 144 will be men, because the same way the Lord set it up in the order in the ancient world, where he charged men, right, that have authority, is going to be like that in the kingdom. Right? There will be men over everybody. Right? The 144 will be all men. All right? Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men. All right? Not women, not children. All right? And that applies for everything else. Right? That applies for the household as well. The man has to be in the head of the household. All right? It'll be backwards for men to be rulers over thousands, but not rulers over their own households. Verse 22. And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that very great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. See that we have to bear each other's burden. So when Paul, you got to remember, Paul was a master of the law. So he makes a lot of tiny, some big, some small references from the scriptures, right? Which is the so-called Old Testament. He makes a lot of references. There's a lot of points. The points that he makes derives from the so-called Old Testament. All right. What's next? Let me get First Maccabees. Can't remember it. First Maccabees 3:55. Right? I'll start at, I gotta get this, verse 55. And after this, Judas ordained captains over the people, even captains over thousands, and over hundreds, and over fifties, and over tens. So Judas, he was a wise man, because he remembered the days of old, right? During his time, he remembered the days of old, right? During their time, the days of old would be also considered the time of Exodus. Right? That can be considered the days of old for him. And what did he do? Of course, he read the law, right? He read the prophets, and he knew that he had to set up order in this thing. All right, here's another example. This is Second Chronicles chapter 19, verse 5. And he set judges in the land throughout all the fenced cities of Judah, city by city, and said to the judges, take heed what ye do, for ye judge not for man, but for the Lord, who is with you in the judgment. Wherefore now, let the fear of the Lord be upon you. Take heed and do it, for there is no iniquity with the Lord our God, nor respect of persons, nor taking of gifts. Right? So this was done in the midst of Israel. There was order. All right. So we've seen examples of order in animals, right? We've seen the pictures, brought out some precepts. We've seen an example of order in the military, in the army, right? Let's bring out a few more regarding the household. This is Sirach 27:3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall be soon overthrown. Right? Why does it fall upon a man? Because what did the Lord say in Ezekiel 34:31? I'm going to tell you why it falls upon the man. And ye, my flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your God, saith the Lord. Right? The flock of my pasture are men. If you did not know, the flock is Israel. All right, let's bring out a precept. I believe it's Micah 2:12 is what I want. I will surely assemble, O Jacob, all of thee. I will gather. It's like I will surely gather the remnant of Israel. I will put them together as the sheep of Basra, as the flock in the midst of their fold. They shall make great noise by the reason of the multitude of men. Right? So the Lord set men, right, in charge of the flock. All right. What does it say in 1 Peter 5:2? I'll start at verse 1. A lot of Jake don't read verse 1. The elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Hamashiach, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God which is among you, right? Taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre's sake, but it's like a bit of a ready mind. Right, so it was our the men, the elders' job to feed the flock, right? And this is Paul writing to, as we can see right here, Paul, an apostle of Mashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, right? Telling them how to set up the order. Get another one. Yeah, when you read this entire chapter, it's still going into setting up the order, right? How things ought to be done. All right. So again, there has to be order in this thing. When the Lord comes back, they're going to move in a formation, right? They're going to move in that, I don't know exactly what type of formation, but we know that they're going to move in a formation, right? I can't say whether it be formation of goose or ants or bees, but they move in order, right? And best believe Yahushua is going to be in the front, or he might be in the back, kind of just saying charge. But I like to believe the front, right? And you see that in a lot of movies and TV shows. You see the king or the general, the knight, the head knight, he in the front saying charge, right? That's how the Lord coming back. All right, so we find order all throughout the Bible. And if you give your life to the Bible, then that means order should be in your life. Because again, when you read, you're not reading just to read the words and just remember the accounts. You have to apply it to your life, right? That's knowledge. That's wisdom. That's how you truly get wisdom. Applying knowledge to your life, breaking it down and understanding how you can utilize it when it comes to counsel, your own situation, observing certain situations. So I will write this out. Israel has been edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. I just want to go over a few precepts regarding order. All right. Make sure anything goes pop in my head. I'll bring out another one. This is controversial. Well, it's controversial to those that don't know any better. They don't know about the scriptures. But when we have an understanding, it's not controversial. We know what it's about. All right. Colossians 3:22. Servants, obey in all things your masters, according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasures, but in singleness of heart, fearing God. Right. So in the ancient world, you had people known as lads. And we'll Google it real quick. And then bring out a precept. Right. Lad. Right. These are the modern day synonyms, but it's more so a stable worker. That's really what it's going into. All right. And that's 1 Samuel, I want to say 20. First Samuel chapter 20, verse 36. Right, so they had a lad. David had a lad. Salakia. I'll start at 21. And behold, I will send a lad, saying, go forth. It's like at first I want to rephrase myself. A lot of people had lads back then. Right? If you have some type of wealth or position, you're going to have a lad. Behold, I will send a lad, saying, go find out the arrows. If I expressly say unto the lad, behold, the arrows are on this side of thee, take them, then come thou. For there is peace to thee, and no hurt, as the Lord liveth. All right, I brought that out to let me back off Colossians 3:22. That's what that's really going into. You had servants and masters. You had masters and lads, right? And if a lad or your servant, right, kind of go off, do something like out of order, look, guess what? He's going to get chastised. He's going to get scolded. And this is offensive to people in the world because when they think of masters and servants, they think of slavery, hardcore bondage slavery, with iron yokes and chains and fetters of iron and whiplash and a back 800 times and buck broken. That's what they think of when they read this, right? But when you go back to the law in Exodus 21st chapter, you understand that there is a righteous way of having servitude. There is an order to it, all right? That's what the law is. It's order, because you can't do anything. Order is when you can't do everything you want. That's pretty much what it is, right? You're obeying a higher person. That's all order is, right? So even in the ancient world, Paul is telling the people, you have to have order. He's telling that to the servants and the masters. Another one, what's that? 1 Corinthians 12. It's another account of all being one body. Right? So this is another example of Paul pulling something from the so-called Old Testament and, utilizing it to get his point across to the church of Corinth. It says in verse 12, for as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body being many are one body, so also is Hamashiach. And here's another example of order. Now ye are the body of Mashiach and members in particular, and God hath set some in the church, first apostles. So it's going into the order of the church. First apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healing, helps in governments, diversities of tongues. Are all apostles, are all prophets, are all teachers, are all workers of miracles, having all the gifts of healing. Do all speak with tongues, do all interpret, but covet earnestly the best gifts, and I will and yet shew I unto you a more excellent way. But the point is, there's order even in the church. But you don't see that now. In the church, you got two people side by side, and it's just folly, man. That's all it is. It's just folly. There's no order in the church. The woman's not silent in the churches. Men are wearing dresses in the churches. Could be homosexual in the churches. Nobody give a damn about prophesying in the churches, you know. So there's order to this thing. Let me get one more. Acts chapter 1 verse 21. No, it's 26. I should have said that. I started 23. All right, it's pretty much a recap of what happened in the Gospels, or like the ending summary. Right, so Judas gave up the ghost. Now they have to find another apostle. This is Acts 1 and 21. Wherefore of these men which have accompanied with us all the time that the Lord Yahushua went in and out among us, beginning from the baptism of John unto the same day that he was taken up from us, must one be ordained to be a witness with us of his resurrection. And they appointed two, Joseph called Barsabas, who was surnamed Justus, and Matthias. And they prayed and said, Lord, Slaki thou Lord, which knowest the hearts of men, shew whether of these two thou hast chosen, that he may take part of this ministry and apostleship, from which Judas by transgression fell, that he might go to his own place. And they gave forth their lots, and the lot fell upon Matthias, and he was numbered with the 11 apostles. Right, so Matthias was that last one that made up all 12. And that's not to say that Barsabas was wicked. It just wasn't his lot. All right. And that's an example of when you're going off and you fall short or really fall out, the Most High can give your lot to another man. All right. So that's why you always have to stay on fire. That's why you see nothing but exhortation videos. All right. But with that, I'm going to bid Azor Shalom. Stay strong in the spirit, study, pray, and have a beautiful Sabbath.